Hello friends, welcome to the session. Today we will understand the political concept of citizenship. Friends, during the development process of any country, every country has gone through a step which is called as the citizenship, providing citizenship to its country members. A citizen is a member of a political community of any country. First of all, you have to understand that there are many types of communities living in a particular country based on religious beliefs or ethnical identities or geographical identities, majorities, minorities. Many types of people may reside in a country. But citizen, who is a citizen of a country? A citizen of a country who has a relationship with that state, and what type of relationship? That the individual owes allegiance and in turn is entitled to its protection. It means citizenship, we can say, is a bipartite contract wherein the country and the individual are connected with a bond, so that the individual is owing allegiance, okay, and in turn the country is providing him the protection, the preservation, and the right to development. Various types of fundamental rights are provided to that particular citizen. So this is the basic concept of citizenship. It is a bipartite relationship between an individual and the country. It may be possible some person may residing in a country who may have been residing there for the purpose of job, for the purpose of employment, on or some we can say strategic importance, or some we can say the diaspora of any country. But it may be possible that particular person may not have allegiance. He may be working for the benefits of his own country. So that particular person is not a citizen. Citizen is someone who owes allegiance, and in turn country also owes something to him. Okay, now what is the importance of citizenship? What are the basic requirements for which every person who is a member of any particular religious community always try to become the citizen of that country? Citizens have certain rights, duties, and responsibilities that are denied or only partially extended to aliens. What is the difference between a normal residing person and a citizen? There may be, like the Constitution of India has extended some fundamental rights to only the citizens of the country, that I will explain in the later in this session. But some fundamental rights are of course available to all the persons, but some are available exclusively to the citizens. Okay, so citizens have certain rights, duties, and responsibilities. Any alien member of any country, of any alien member of the population of any country may not have any responsibility towards that country. He may have been there only for the purpose of income, for job, for employment, as I have already told you. So he may be alien. He may not have any responsibility, but citizens also have responsibilities. Okay. In general, full political rights, including the right to vote and to hold public offices, are predicated upon citizenship. This whole idea of country, and country is made up of what? The country is not made up of persons or living human beings. A country is a political idea which consists citizens in itself. Okay, citizens are the primary requirement of any country to form, because the citizens of that country hold public offices, they elect their governments, they take part in the policy decision making process. So this is the whole idea of political idea. Also, you have to understand that this idea is not anthropological or not social. Citizenship is purely a political idea, because ultimately the concept of citizenship contributes towards the political concept of country. Okay, the usual responsibilities of citizenships are allegiance, taxation, military services, or we can say holding rightfully the public offices, take part in the decision making processes, right to vote, right to expression, right to equality, different types of rights, responsibilities, they all are expected from a citizen. So these are the fundamental difference between a citizen and a normal person, residing person. Now, as you have seen in this Venn diagram, the concept of equality, justice, and diversity within a country. It may be possible that citizens, like in India also and many other countries around the world, that many different racial groups or different cultural groups may having the citizenship of a same country, and that is the, we can say, the binding thing that actually binds them together. Like in India also, from north to south and east to west, people from many racial groups reside in India. Like in north, in south, there are Tamilians, Dravidians, then Gujaratis, Punjabis, then the North Indian people, Northeastern, Bengalis. They all have their own ideas, their own religious ideas, social identities, ethnical group. But what bounds them? What bounds them is the concept of citizenship, that they are all members of the country, which name is India, and they have their citizenship. And they, all these citizens have enjoys the right of equality within the boundaries of our country. They all enjoys the right to justice. They can all enforce their rights within the boundaries of our country. Yes, there are some fundamental rights which have also been enjoyed by the only living persons in India, which are not the citizens. Now we will understand the concept of citizenship in the context, especially in the context of India. It is provided in the from the Constitution of India provides for a single citizenship for whole of the country. It is not like the United States, where we say that the different states have also their own concept of citizenship. Okay, every person who was at the commencement of the Constitution, that is 26 January 1950, domiciled in the territory of India, who was born in India, either of whose parents was born in India, or who has been ordinarily resident in India for not less than 5 years, became a citizen of India at the time of commencement of the Constitution. Then there are some also inorganic, some mechanical ways to obtain the citizenship of India. The Citizenship Act 1955 deals with the matters relating to acquisition, determination, and termination of Indian citizenship. Okay, now comes the thing that in the 2019 this act was again modified. Now the important point, rights exclusive to Indian citizens and persons. Now comes the fundamental rights guaranteed by articles like the Article 14, 20, 21A. It means the right to equality, right to life. 22, 23, 4, 5, 6, 7 are available to all the persons, including the citizens and the foreigners. But fundamental rights like Article 15, okay, Article 15, then Article 16 that deals with the concept of equality of rights and the some reservation things, then right to life, right to protection. These are exclusively available for Indian citizens only. Now I am going to define this for you. Fundamental rights available only to the citizens of India. Article 15. Prohibition of discrimination on the ground of religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth. Equality of opportunity in the matters of public employment. Then comes the protection of 6 rights related to freedom. Freedom of speech and expression, to assemble peaceably and without arms, to form association or unions, to move freely throughout the territory of India, to reside in, settle in any part of the territory of India, and to practice any profession or to carry on any occupation, trade, or business. Now comes Article 29, protection of language, script, and culture of minorities. They are only available to the minorities who are the citizens of India. Okay, there are 6 ethnic minorities which have been constituted by the Indian Parliament. Now comes Article 30, right of minorities to establish and administer educational institutions. So these are the 5 fundamental rights which are exclusively available for the citizens of India. Now comes the fundamental rights which are available to both citizens and foreigners. Article 14, equality before the law and equal protection of law. Not all the equalities are available to the persons, the foreigners. Only the equality before the law. Protection in respect of conviction for offenses. Protection of life and personal liberty. That habeas corpus things is available to everyone. Article 22, protection against arrest and detention in certain cases. Child labor, employment of children in factories, freedom of conscience and free profession, practice and propagation of religion. This is available to all. Freedom to manage religious affairs. Freedom, look, there is the difference between Article 26 and Article 29. Article 26 only deals with the freedom to manage religious affairs. Anybody can manage their affairs according to their ethnical identity. But minorities, because there are certain protections and reservations are provided to minorities in order to manage their religious affairs and to the conservation and spreading of their affair. That is a protection which is provided in the Article 29, which is not available to the foreigners. Okay. Article 27, freedom from payment of taxes for promotion of any religion. Freedom from attending religious instruction or worship in certain educational institutions. This is also not applicable to the minorities. Okay, so these are the things which you have to understand. Now you can see from these two slides, the fundamental rights available only to the citizens, fundamental rights available to both the citizens and the foreigners. You must have seen that there are certain rights like the Article 19, Article 30, Article 31, A, B, C. These are the rights which are exclusive for the Indian people. And this is the definition. This is the difference in the definition of the citizen or a foreigner within a country. There are many countries which do not guarantees public offices to the foreigners. Okay, but there are certain other countries like in the Western Europe, the Finland, the Sweden, Norway. There are countries which allows the persons from other countries to hold public offices, but this is the difference and it varies around the world. So friends, this is all for the session. Thank you very much.